Hi guys, Coach Bond here, official narcissist of the chosen 144K, self-diagnosed, NPD, self-aware, and also under self-therapy at the moment. Okay. Well, soon actually I'll be joining a couples therapy lah. All right, I've been told. So it's not actually a therapy that's specifically for NPD, but I think couples therapy is the closest you can get in Malaysia. So we're gonna do that. I'm going to do that. All right. So today I'll be talking about a few things that's been in my mind since I last heard from Chief Pete, live streams from people like Chief Pete, right? Lee Hammock, a little bit of HG Tudor, not so much because he keeps putting up a lot of stuff about Meghan Markle nowadays, right? Some stuff from Sam Vaknin. So this is my way of trying to articulate my thoughts, okay, and also get some perspective from people who are listening to me. Okay, so I would like to thank first Louise Garner for most of her help. Okay, she's been guiding me through most of the stuff that I'm talking about when I go to these live streams. Okay, so it's 6 a.m. here in Malaysia. I've been up since 1 a.m. All right, so lots of stuff in my mind. All right, guys, let's talk about Limerance dulu. This is something which I just, what do you call this? Realize. So I had to do a kind of like a search about it, see what exactly it's about. So it's basically an obsession with something, idolizing a dream, a fantasy, something like that. All right. So it's kind of weird for most people to imagine. Okay, how can a narcissist look at someone, an actual person, and instead of seeing that person themselves, they actually see this fantasy that we have in our mind. Okay. All right. So one of the things that I think I can try to explain it is one of the reasons that we have this self-defense mechanism, this narcissism, is that we have this deep fear of abandonment, this really deep fear of abandonment. And so we create this person who will be able to save us. And we create this archetype of this person who will be able to save us. So in my case, I created this archetype of a person who's so powerful. This in this case, always a woman, lah, right? She is so powerful. She's so independent. She is so uh, she's such a mom or whatever. All right, I can't explain it. So you guys can imagine it. But in this case, she's such a pillar that I'm not that she actually saves me from all this fear and pain that I suffer. All right. So obviously, this person will have all kinds of characteristics and everything. Now, this is where the problem comes when you are dealing with human beings. No human beings are going to be able to live up to that kind of obsession. All right, that kind of expectations, because no such person exists. See, intellectually, I can rationalize that. Really, like, I'm talking to you here. I'm telling you about that no such person exists. But here is what happens when you're a narcissist. That self-defense mechanism will not let you think otherwise. Okay, it will not let you think otherwise. Okay, so how does it show in your relationship, in your life? It'll show in this sense. You will keep being disappointed at that other person. You keep getting disappointed at her because every time she does something that you feel does not coincide with that fantasy you have in your mind, you get disappointed, you get angry. And then the reason why you're angry is because you think that she failed you somehow. Obviously you feel that it's justified. Since she failed you, well, you'll react. A narcissist will react, I mean. A narcissist will react. Okay, meaning here, if I react usually when I'm in fear, So I will react by trying to control the situation. Meaning here, my first reaction would be to try to make the other person feel better first. Try to make her stronger. I mean, that's my way of doing things. Other narcissists might do it differently, but my first reaction will try to make that person feel uh, don't feel weak, feel strong. Okay, so I'll use every trick in the book to make her feel that way. Cause so that thing comes out of fear. So as I'm trying to do it, can call it manipulation if you want or whatever. So as I'm trying to do it, and this person is not reacting to it or not responding to my. Okay, sorry about the cats. One of them are in heat. They're not responding to what I'm trying to do. I start getting angry, and this is when stuff happens, like bad stuff happens, right? Now, in my opinion, most of the problem that arises from the relationship between narcissists, like really true narcissists, lah, not like assholes, just have narcissistic traits, but basically assholes, like really true narcissists. This is where the problem arises. Okay, because no matter how good that person is, he or she will never live up to that obsession we have in our minds. So that's what I understand about Limerance. Because I'm in love actually with that obsession I have with that person I have in my mind. Okay, so how do I cope with it? So how do I cope with it? So this is what I do. For other people will be different. Okay, I assume other narcissists will have different type of obsessions in their mind. Okay, but me, what I do is I try to find the person that is actually that has that, what do you call this, uh, those aspirations, a person who actually wants to be that person that I have in my mind. Okay, meaning here, she wants to be independent, she wants to be strong, she wants to move up in the world, she wants to protect me, all this kind of stuff. It's already in her genetic makeup, right? Yeah, thanks for being here. Luis Garner. All right, you're always there. All right, now I know why Chief Pete always appreciates your presence. Okay, now that's my strategy. I have no idea whether it's going to work or not, but hopefully it will, because that's the closest thing I can get. I do not think there is any way for me to break. Okay, I'm not trying to be disempowering what myself, but I think it will take immense effort for me to actually break that what do you call it, like my, you can say it's like my god or something like that. It's that strong, the spiritual connection to this obsession that I have. So it's going to take time for me to break that belief. Okay, so in the meantime, this is my stopgap, my strategy in trying to solve this thing. All right, so thinking about limerence made me think about other things as well, about supernovas. All right, about uh, coercive patterns. Okay, Luis, you gotta tell me what it is. Don't forget I'm a Malaysian. I speak mostly Malay. Coercive pattern sounds ominous though. Okay, anyway, while waiting for Luis Garner to help me help me with it. Okay. Uh, if I had to guess what coercive patterns mean, I guess it's me trying to manipulate the other person, right? The other person. And yeah, actually, that's what I do. So I'll try to manipulate that other person to become the object that I desire, which causes a lot of friction in this sense. On one hand, if that person is controllable, that means I can control that person to such an extent that she becomes whoever that I want her to become. Since I want an independent woman, that means she's not what I want. Okay? she's not what I want. Yeah, I do have that pattern. That is true. So I probably have some psychopathic tendencies also, right? So I'll usually discard that person. On the other hand, when you really do meet someone young, totally have that independence, and you can't control them, makes you scared of them. So now you have this 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 friction. Can't win one side, Wherever it goes, you can't win. So that's my unknown. That's my strategy now. I just look for someone who already wants to become whatever I have in mind. And instead of trying to manipulate or coerce or whatever, I just let them do what they do because that's what they want. So I just follow them. The only thing I need to do is just don't be impatient. Don't try to control. Don't try to push, and just have faith they'll reach whatever it is that they'll go to. So so I believe I have that in my wife at the moment. But who knows? Like I said, this thing's kind of tough to say. All right. So supernovas. Now, I always thought supernovas was something that's explosive, because the word itself seems to imply explosive. But then Chief Pete and Osmosis, a guy in the comments, seemed to mention something about supernovas actually being an awakening, all right? An awakening. I heard it again and again actually from Chief Pete, but for some reason it didn't stick to my mind until the other day. Yeah, I totally agree. Can I put this in there? No? How do I put this in my, one of these days? Okay, anyway, I'll just read it. So Luis Garner said, it coercive pattern is to mold another into someone you can control means amputating their unique, undesired by your characteristic to make them more conducive to control. Yeah, I agree with that. Right? So that's what narcissist does for you, especially a very good narcissist. Right? But like I said, uh, you can't win either way. All right. I mean, for the other person, we can't win either way. Even for a narcissist, we can't win either way. So we're trapped in this pattern of, conflict. So supernova being an awakening got me thinking, what if someone like me also can be awakened, can come to a supernova? So I was one of the things that caught my attention was that the supernova is where it's different for everyone. Okay, this awakening is different for everyone. So what I think it would be different for me, a narcissist, right? It would be different for me. So I'm going to try to articulate what exactly that I feel that I could do in this world. Okay, to follow my nature, but at the same time contributing to whatever's happening at the moment. Uh, right? Uh, and I don't have an answer for that at the moment, to be honest with you. But I do believe this though. If I was put into this world with this kind of condition, right? And if you've seen my other videos, I did mention that I wasn't abused specifically in any way that I can remember, like the classical way you would call someone who's been abused, okay, mentally or physically. I mean, there has to be a reason, right? There has to be a reason. I can speculate what it is, but I believe there's a reason that I've been giving this kind of tendencies and have been put into this world at this particular moment in time. Okay? Maybe I'll put in another video. Okay, so Louis Garner asks again, so you just want it your way or the highway and force it on another, much like a toddler would. Initially, I did. Initially, I did. Initially, I did, and it caused me a lot of pain, so to speak. Right. So I did mention that I've been hit with a lot of empathic supernovas, because one of the things that happens when you try to look for people who are independent is they are usually, well, very exceptional people in any case. So you try to control these people, and they don't really like to be controlled, so they just explode on you, so you get hurt. It's painful. Okay, you get hurt. I mean, these guys are nothing to be trifled with. So after a while, I kind of realized that, well, I have to change the way I operate. Okay, so it's no more my way or the highway. It's no more my way or the highway. It's more like, is your highway my highway? If I had to use that same metaphor, like, is your highway my highway? Can we like go together in that highway? Because at the end of the day, I cannot follow any other path. It's very difficult for me to follow any other path. Okay, I can't change that part of the narcissism at the moment. Okay, so the closest strategy I can use is to see whether that person has the same direction that I have. That's the closest I can get. Okay, so you ask me if I'm learning to temper it and see it from others' perspective, or it's just based on others' reactions you use for fuel. Okay, so it's always based on others' perspectives, Luis Garner. And yes, I'm learning from it. Okay, one of the things that I'm good at is looking at the, what do you call this, people's body language. Okay, I think Sam Vecklin got it on the nose when he said we have certain levels of empathy. So the two ones that caught me was the one about looking at about cold empathy, and then the other one is like actual empathy, where you actually feel what the other person feels. So obviously, I don't have that part in me. Oh yeah, that's it. Luis Gunner. Yeah, exactly. So rather than me changing, I'd rather they meet me where I'm at. That's exactly what my strategy is right now. Okay. And yes, I'm learning to temper it based on others' perspective. Uh, and it is also based on their reaction. Because I need the fuel. Whatever it is, I need the fuel. If not, I won't be able to react properly. I'll revert back to that toddler being phase. I won't be able to control my actions. I'll just follow the feeling of the moment. So so I need to base it on their reactions that I use for fuel as well. I'm not sure that answers the question, but I would say yes to both questions. To those questions. Okay, so I don't have warm empathy, meaning here it's very easy for me to manipulate. Like, I don't really feel any guilt. Okay, so like for example, we have a cat right now, right? We have a cat right now, another cat. So it's basically due to my wife, right? So one thing that I noticed that's different between me and probably like who you would be calling empaths or normal people is their reaction towards uh, animals. I mean, I don't really react much to animals, for example. Okay, I don't really get any reaction from animals, but it seems like people that doesn't have my condition react very positively to animals. Like they'll be sad about them. I don't really understand why they would feel sad seeing animals. Like to me, it'll be like, okay, they're animals. It's like part of life, that kind of stuff. Do you get any feel from yourself? Yes, I do, but very little, and it basically requires a lot of uh, energy to be worth it anyway. Now, in order for me to get fuel, I will need to get a reaction from myself. Yeah, I will need to get a reaction from myself. And in order to do that, I need to inspire myself somehow. For example, so it's difficult. It's difficult to do so. But the easiest way to do so, if I had to be honest with you guys, is to masturbate. Lah, that's it. That's the easiest way for me to get some fuel, a little fuel, a little fuel. But I did have an idea, lah. I did have an idea. I got it from tea, right? From tea. What if I can convince myself that there's someone out there, in this case God, who's giving me fuel? Okay, that might work. So right now, like I said, I'm working towards that thing, but it sounds like a possibility. You know, sounds like something I can do. So that could be a form of self fueling, I suppose. If you think it in another way, where I just think about God, watching over me, and whatever I do, that personal God reacts to it. Probably will fuel me if I'm able to convince myself. But again, it's going to take us a long stretch of time. Hmm. What exactly fuels you from the inside? Knowing that I exist, knowing that whatever I do affects people around me, whether positively or negatively. All right? As long as I feel like I exist, okay, that I'm someone who's worth it. Of course, in this case, I'd rather get fuel from happier sources rather than scary sources, right? Now, with regards on how I feel when I have fuel, somehow it affects my brain differently in that it starts working, starts moving, start becoming more efficient, and then I start being more focused. It's easier for me to talk. Like right now, if you give me attention, for example, you might notice I start talking a bit more focused, a bit more confident, those kind of stuff. Okay, where was I? Okay, about the supernova thing. So I already said a little bit about me having supernova, how others take fuel from you. There is a possibility. There is some narcissistic traits from everyone. I would think that 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 part of you would require some fuel once in a while. The only difference is since you're also empathic, right? I think you can generate your own fuel somehow. You look at a person who's sad, you feel sad, and then that generates some kind of energy inside of you, and you react to it. So it's a bit easier if you have, warm empathy, I suppose. But someone without warm empathy, very hard to generate anything from us. Very hard. It's very hard. But I would think you would be able to take fuel from me as well if you were so inclined. I mean, the narcissistic part of you anyway, right? All right. Now I'm talking about twin flames. Twin flames. So apparently, it's when two different souls vibrate with each other. Okay, meaning here, from what I understand, uh, yeah, actually, that inner child healing thing. I think Sam Wagner was talking about it, right? Some kind of cold therapy stuff. Well, I only saw the first part of the video, and the other part was cost too much. So maybe someone here can tell me what cold therapy is. I can use it on myself. He did mention about healing us through a child psychology perspective. Child psychology perspective. Maybe that's a thing. Yeah. Okay. So twin flames. So this one I got from Basharla. Yeah, we can be our own twin flame. But one of the things that I learned about being a narcissist, I don't know lah. Maybe if empath will have different views on this. I cannot survive without other people. That is a given. I cannot be my own. I cannot, me at least. I cannot be my own twin flame. There's no way I can be my own twin flame because of my condition. Just to survive, I need others' validation. Okay, so just to function, I need others' validation. Okay, my motivations, my strengths, all requires other people. At least for now. At least for now. You never know. Maybe in the future it'll be different. So the idea of a twin flame is having a partner that vibrates at such a frequency. This is from Bashar lah. I just watched his 1 minute video, and they actually make each other better. Okay, which is nice. Which is nice. So that is something that I'm trying to create with my wife as well. Okay, I know me and her, we vibrate at a different frequency, but we have similar paths. We are in a similar path. We're trying to go to a similar path, right? And we're vibrating at a similar frequency. And not similar frequency, like so different of a frequency, right? But maybe that difference in frequency, when you combine them together, can actually, well, bring me to a different level. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can do it myself. I've been doing it myself for a long time, and it doesn't work from what I see. So when I started asking for help from people like from you guys, Luis Garner, from Chief Pete, from my wife especially, from actual therapists, I'm actually starting to get a lot of movement in my life again. Right? Especially when I connect back with everyone that I know before this. Okay, so everything's actually moving forward a bit more. Okay, so it's yeah, that's right. Okay, so I got about 3 minutes left to talk about. So there was someone who asked me about her situation. Okay, her situation was when a narcissist. Well, basically, I'm just going to like summarize the whole thing. When a narcissist uses a child to basically connect you with them, right? Connect you with them. Now, I'm not really sure about uh, Western values, but Eastern values. Once you already have a child, again, it is very difficult to break off already. It's very difficult to break off. Uh, I would think maybe Western values are similar, but in Eastern values, it is even worse to do so. Okay, once you have a kid with someone, it is expected of you to be together. Now, I try to give a perspective about this situation to people, but from the point of view of the abuser, guys, from the point of view of the abuser, from someone who's abusing, because I have no idea what abused people feels like. Okay, from the abuser. Now, if I know you are a person who was responsible and uh, have a savior complex or whatever lah, right? I'd go for that. I'd go for that. And how do I what and how else more efficient than having your baby, you know, or at least telling you that's your baby, you know. So knowing that, also know that the power is not on the abuser side. It's not on the narcissistic side. Okay, it's not on the narcissistic side. Like I said, we cannot survive without you, right? So bear that in mind every time you are in this position. You have a right to choose. Okay, whether you want to keep the baby, you don't want to keep the baby, you want to be with the person, you don't want to be with the person. Always do it with this in mind. You have a choice. Okay, that's all the perspective I can give to you guys. Okay, the narcissist, we don't have a choice most of the time. Well, maybe all of the time sometimes. Okay, you don't have a choice, so you are in control. So just have faith, I guess. That's all I can tell people in that position. Okay. Anyway, 30 minutes. It's up. My first therapy session is done. Thank you so much, Luis Garner, for being here, and all the people who gave me a like and stayed for my therapy session. So hopefully this will go somewhere. See you guys in the next video.